Welcome, adventurers. What's going on, guys? My name is Cody. This is Taking 20, a channel about all things role-playing games. And today, I want to take you guys through a little spin, a little jaunt, if you will, through D&D Beyond, because we had Adam Bradford with D&D Beyond on our show on Saver Dice, and so he hooked us up with some legendary bundles, and so I've had a chance to really dig into it over the last few weeks, and it's really impressive. Okay, I've got some opinions about it and some things that I want to touch on, but one of the biggest things that I want to talk about is how badly they marketed it to make us all think that it is really a subscription-based service, and it's really not. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to dive in. I'm going to show you guys what you get with the free version, what you get with the paid version, and a little bit of the differences and everything else in between. So I hope you guys are ready. Let's get started. Okay, guys, so what we have here is I am logged into an incognito window because Curse, D&D Beyond, that's all synonymous, they take your Twitch login. So it's really frustrating if you're trying to log into 2 accounts. That's why I've got the incognito window going. But this is, as we can see here, my Taking 20 Plays account. This is my just a backup account I have on Twitch. And this is completely free. I have not paid any money. I've not been given any books. I have no subscription. This is literally what you would get if you just went to dndbeyond.com and logged in right out of the box. So I want to share that with you guys here a little bit. Now, as you can see, the first thing that you're gonna get is you're gonna get basically you have the Compendium. You can create a character, and then you can go into Homebrew Content. And I don't think you can really do a lot with Homebrew Content on the free account, but we're gonna touch on based on that. And then of course they got some fun little articles and all that stuff. Up top, you have all of your content, so you can get right into your characters, your campaigns. You have your characters, or you can build a new character. And then down here, you can look at all of the different races, classes, backgrounds, feat. Now, I want to be clear that on the free account, until you actually buy material, you have exactly what you would have if you went and downloaded the Wizards of the Coast free rules. Okay, so this is exactly what is in the SRD. So this also includes, as we can see here, let me show you the races in particular. This will also include, like the Aarakocra are in this, because that race is in the Elemental Evil Player's Companion. But the Bugbear, which says part of Volo's Guide to Monster, you can see that here. But when you go into the details, you can see that, okay, it wants you to buy Volo's Guide to Monster to unlock this. Now, down here with this, so let me just back up just a little bit. So this is a really great price. This is a really great price, in my opinion. I've got a little bit of an idea on the backstory on what's going on with the pricing with Wizards of the Coast in the digital distributors. In essence, from my observations, and again, nobody in particular has told me this, but from my observations is that Roll20 is the only one that is still charging full price, whereas Fantasy Grounds and D&D Beyond have dropped down to the lowest tier that Wizards will allow them to sell it at. So if Wizards of the Coast actually allowed them to sell it even cheaper, you might even see this number drop in the future. But again, that's a whole distribution thing on Wizard trying to protect their brick and mortar stores. So like I kind of understand that a little bit. But so you can buy the whole Volo's Guide here for $29.99, which is the lowest price that Wizards will let any of their distributors sell that at. And then down here, you see that you can buy individual races. So let me explain what's going on here, because I get there's a lot of negativity going on with this, and I think it's a little unwarranted, in my opinion. So for Volos, you've got basically 4 different packs that you can buy, and then in addition to that, you can buy individual things. So yes, you can buy all these individual monsters. If you just want the Cave Fisher added to your game and into your compendium, you could add this for $2. You could buy this one monster for $2. Now, here's the deal. You can buy Volo's Guide to Monsters for $30, or you can buy just the races for $10, and that will give you all the races that you see here. You can buy any individual race for $2. On the monsters, you've got a really solid price. You can buy all of the Volo's Guide to monsters if you don't care about the playable races and some other stuff I'm going to show you here in a second. for 13 bucks. That's a really good price. That's a really good price in my opinion. I still wouldn't do that because I would just probably buy the whole thing to Volo's Guide, and I'll explain here in just a moment. But if you want to, and you can buy all 136 monsters, all of these stat blocks added to your monsters for just $13, $12.99. And in addition, again, you can buy these individually. Now, as we scroll down here, you can buy the sub races for $2 each, or you can buy all 3 of them for $3. And then the final thing that you see here is the compendium content only. So this is kind of, honestly, I don't want to pay to double check what I think is the right answer on my free account, because I already have all this content on my main account. But basically, purchasing this bundle unlocks the Volo's Guide to Monsters in digital format in the game Compendium. And that's going to give you access to the art, maps, cross-linking, and tooltips. Now, the cross-linking is probably the biggest thing there. And I'll show you that here in just a little bit on what I think that is talking about. So, if you decide that you want, if you're a player and you really want to play a Tabaxi, and all you want to do is you just want to play a Tabaxi, I don't want to buy $30 to just play Tabaxi, then you can come over here and you can pay $2 just for the Tabaxi. Now, here's the kicker. In addition, when you buy this Tabaxi for $2, it is going to drop your Volo's Guide down by $2. Like, all the money that you spent, that you end up spending, if you purchase the core book that came out of, or the main book that came out of, that money that you spent towards the little material in there actually goes towards unlocking the main book anyways. So let's say you start off by playing and you want to pick up the Tabaxi. No problem, you pick it up. It's $2. You're on a completely free account. You're like, I'll pay $2 to have my Tabaxi character built completely out. Perfect. I'm totally satisfied with that. I don't want to spend $30 on Volo's Guide. And then later on, you start getting more involved and you start becoming a dungeon master and you want to run your own games. Then that is when you can go ahead and pick up the rest of Volo's Guide. All of the money that you spent on picking up the Tabaxi and picking up the Aasimar, that will be applied towards your Volo's Guide purchase. Okay, and that works for all books. So Sword Coast Adventures Guide, Xanathar's Guide, the Player's Handbook, all of it. So that is kind of how the pricing structure works. Now, I want to go over a couple more things here, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about subscriptions, because you're going to be, if you don't know what the subscriptions are, or you think you know based off of what the initial information was, I bet you're going to be really pleasantly surprised. What they've done with their subscriptions is actually really neat. But let's just jump over here to the rules real quick. And you can see that they have everything here to show you kind of what it looks like. And then everything that you own, you can continue to click into. And I'll show you my full account here in just a moment. But again, I don't have the Player's Handbook on here, so it's going to hit me with the paywall. And then, of course, there's all the different little things that I can buy. Feats, etc., 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 etc. Okay, so on the items, they have all the magic items in the SRD. So there's quite a bit of magic items here. There's a lot. So I can jump into the rings. All this is free. This is still 100% my free Taking 20 Plays account. Now, while we're kind of going through this, and I'm just kind of quickly scrolling through here so you guys can see just how much content is free, I do want to mention that there is not an application for this right now. However, just because there's not an app for it for Android or Apple or for the iPhone, this works online on your phone or tablet. And let me tell you, I took it to a convention. It's okay at a convention because you still kind of need to get the internet access to it. So that's a little rough. That was a little bit of like, okay, you've got to really make sure you've got a really good, strong signal. If they add an app to it later, I don't know that that's going to improve, because the app's still probably going to want to connect back to their servers to verify that you have that information. And then at my home game, I play exclusively on my tablet now. In my home game, I have a big, right behind this blue screen, I've got a whole bunch of books. I've got all that stuff. I've got every book that Wizards has put out so far for 5e. And I run with D&D Beyond on my tablet. So it's really smooth. It's really fast. I love the way that while I'm scrolling down, and reading through like Horde of the Dragon Queen, which I'm running right now in a home game for some new players, I can literally just click on, the Kobold, and I can click on the Cultist, and I can click on the Acolyte and the Guard Drake and all those things, and I can open them up in separate tabs, and I can just bounce back and forth between the stat block. And if I was running out of the actual book, it just wouldn't be quite as easy, in my opinion. And then, of course, again, I can turn the tablet around really easy to show them images and pictures and stuff like that. So I'm a big fan of the cross-linking. It's, in essence, if you guys are familiar with OneNote, it works a lot like that. And we'll show you the desktop version here, but I just wanted to let you guys know they don't have an app, but I don't think that matters because it works so well on your phone and tablet anyways. Okay, and then quickly, we'll just jump down to the monsters, and so you guys can see everything in the SRD is in here completely for free. And it's just a lot of material. So let's quickly come over here to character builder. So let's go to my characters real quick. So you can see here, if you're on the completely free account, you only get 6 characters unlocked. Once you are on the $2.99 subscription, or if you're on the $5.99 subscription, which again I'll cover here in just a moment, you get unlimited characters. So basically free is 6, anything else is more than 6. Okay, so let's go build a character real quick just so you guys can see how fast this is. They're powered by fantasy name generators. So let's go with Dwarf. And I love how much art they have in here. In addition, down here, you'll be able to see that they've actually pulled art, or the portraits anyways, from the Wizards of the Coast 5e books. Like this lady right here, if I remember correctly, she's part of Nightstone. She's part of Nightstone there. We don't want her. We just want a dwarf. We're going to go build a dwarf real quick. Okay. So, they've done some new interesting things with Critical Role here. Not a big deal. I don't think it's going to make or break whether or not you want to check this out or use this. The advancement type, milestone XP doesn't really matter. It gives you this big warning like, oh no, you're going to lose all your stuff. It's fine. Of course, you want to use encumbrance. I like using fixed hit points instead of rolling. Just statistically, it makes more sense. All right, so on the races. Now, the cool thing on the races is, while in the compendium, it showed you all the races and stuff like that. So, like, it showed you the Tabaxi and the Bugbear that you don't have access to. Here, it's not going to do that. It is literally only going to show you the stuff that you 100% have access to. So, there's no, in the middle of building a character, you suddenly hit a paywall. That's gone. It's only going to give you options that you have available to you. So, let's go ahead and make a Mountain Dwarf, because +2 Constitution and +2 Strength is amazing. All right. Now, as you're going through this is why I think that this program is really, really, really good. If you are introducing someone to the game, yes, this is a weird way to build your character versus what people might typically do by starting with abilities and stuff like that. But this is really good. It is going to show them, it's going to walk them through absolutely everything so that they can go through, still make their own choices, read just a little bit on what they need to read, and then after that, they can come to the table with a character, or they can have a character on their phone, or if they're brand new and they want to go home and read on how to level up because you've got them hooked on Horde of the Dragon Queen, then you can share your books with them with a subscription, and I'll get into that here in just a minute. So this character builder for new players and for just people that just want to quickly throw together characters is what I think makes D&D Beyond shine. And one of the reasons that I think that it's going to, I just think it's going to be the future. It's going to take a really long time for grognards and even guys like myself who have a whole bunch of money invested in the books. It's going to take a really long time to get in the frame of mind of, I don't need a physical book because it's pretty on a shelf and because it's nice to have, and because I have a whole bunch of them, and just that kind of completionist in me wants to finish out the little section, especially since they're only released in 3 books. All those little things that you're going to say in your mind that give you reasons of, I'm so heavily invested, I don't want to make a change. If D&D Beyond was available at launch, I don't think that half as many people that bought books would have even bought books. I think that a lot more people would be invested in D&D Beyond just because of, if you take aside the fact of you're invested versus how good is it versus a book, I think that I just think it's good. I think it's smooth. I think it works fast and all those things. And the character builder, we've seen a lot of apps about this, but it's pretty good. It's pretty smooth. So let's go ahead and finish building out this character. And you can see here, anything that I need to make a decision on, it's going to do that for me real quick. It's going to go over all this stuff for me. It's going to talk about all the extra things that I get. Again, this is all purely SRD content. So let me go back here real quick. Let me go back. Let me remove this. Just to show you that it's pure SRD content. You have a cleric, but when you go in, on your divine domain, you only get the life domain, just like the SRD. So if this was everything, you would have just like a whole scroll. Okay. So I've got to choose 2 proficiencies. That's what this is telling me. We can come down here. We can give them history, and let's give them religion. Okay, great. All that stuff looks good. Let's go ahead and do a point buy real quick. Let's see. What does a cleric want? They want some of this action. All right. Let's go ahead and take the dex up to about there. So 16. Let's take the con down just a little bit. They're not going to be quite in the line that much. Yeah, looks good to me. Okay. So, and then down here, it's going to tell all of the new players where their bonuses are coming from. So it's giving you their total, the modifier, the base score, and it's saying that you have a racial bonus to strength. You have a racial bonus to constitution. And the rest of the stuff is pretty easy. And your new players can just click, click, click. By the way, they can do this on their phone. It works really smooth and well. It was just so much better to sit down and say, everybody stop, go log into D&D Beyond and make a character, all of us together. It was so much nicer. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Folk hero, okay. Yeah, who cares? Let's take a Smith's tool. And yep, this is all good. This is showing you everything I can fill out. So this is the one little tiny thing that I saw that was kind of annoying, was the personality traits. So I didn't see a way to remove it from this screen. So like if you're just like random, you might get like 15 of them loaded down, which was a little obnoxious. But let's go ahead and add this one and add this one just to show you guys what that looks like. Okay, we'll stop there. On the starting equipment, we can choose equipment. Let's go ahead and take a mace. Let's take scale mail. Okay, let's take a crossbow and a priest pack. Let's go ahead and take a holy symbol. And I thought we already did that, Smith's tools. Okay, great. So add starting equipment. Now all this stuff has been added in. Currency, all that jazz. Now, let's say we want to add in another item. We can go down here to add item. We can go over here to Wondrous. Let's go ahead and add some Boots of the Winterlands. You can see what it does. Add item here or here. Let's go ahead and add that in over there. All right, so now this has been added. We can come back over here to inventory. On our attuned magic items, let's click there. Whoops, let's click there. Let's use this. Is this not an attuned item? There we go. Yeah, I thought it was. So, and then now you can show that it's being attuned. You can go into your currency. You can go into your encumbrance and all that stuff. And then basically you can just tell your players to hit next. And this is really great because they can either view the character sheet and actively update it and use it while they're playing in your game. They can change their spells. They can add equipment. They can move scroll their health up and down. Right there on their phone. Their character sheet is all, like, how many times have you got, well, maybe today's games are a little different, but back in the day, there were definitely times where people showed up and they lost their character sheet. So that would no longer be a problem. And you can just see it's all right here. It's all clean and crisp and prepared, ready to go. And let's say we want to go back real quick and we want to export the character sheet because we want to print it off and play. Yeah, no problem. You can do that too. It's easy. There's all of our proficiencies you can see there. It's got in there. It's even got our personality traits. It's got the spells that we have guaranteed to us based on our domain. And if we were higher level, obviously you would have a lot more. Shows you all of your proficiencies, and for a new player, this is just really nice and easy and clean, and I really like it. And this is basically what Jim Davis with WebDM did for us for PAX South. He basically had a whole bunch of character sheets that he went into D&D Beyond and made a whole bunch of characters real quick. He sat down, he brought 10 of them to the convention, all built on D&D Beyond, and just passed them out to us. So there is the free account. Now what I want to do is I want to show you guys what it looks like on the paid account. So if you're on a paid account, and you can see this is under my actual Taking20 brand. So let's go back over here to Volo's guide so you guys can see that real quick. And this is basically what you're going to get. So this is, in my opinion, it's smooth, it's nice, it's easy. All of these monsters are also back over here into the actual monster listing. So if you wanted to search a monster, let me just show you that real quick before I'm bouncing back and forth. I apologize for that, guys. So real quick, if you have monsters from the Monster Manual and Volo's guide, and you've got whatever, a couple giants from Storm King's Thunder, then all of these are going to end up here in your monster compendium. And so that makes it really nice because you don't have to remember which one it's in and go over here to the player's handbook. You don't have to go over here to the monster manual and look for it and be like, okay, is it there? Is it there? Is it there? No. It's all here in your monsters tab, which has, you can sort by challenge ratings. Let's go ahead and say that I want constructs between 7 and 12. And there they are. There's all the constructs between 7 and 12. And you can see right here, this is from Curse of Strahd. This is from the basic rules. This is from Tomb of Annihilation. For some of you guys who've been giving me grief about that. And the same thing goes for spells. When you get into your spells here, I think, let's just look here. Actually, you know what? Let's go over here and look at let's look at the Druid. And these are going to be from from all of the different books that you have available to you. So if I wanted a 4th level spell, yeah, we'll just filter 4th level spells. And so you can come right down here to Conjure Woodland Beings. And there you go. It's right here, and it's right next to, and I love the way that you can kind of highlight over this. Okay. And then you can basically go back here. Now, there's one little thing that you'll see here. There's occasionally some advertising. So apparently from the tier that I'm on, I have the sharing, but I haven't gotten rid of the advertising. I think that's because basically because of the way that the account was given to me. But when you're on the subscription, the $5.99 or $2.99, that will go away. Okay, so I think you guys get a pretty good understanding of this. Let's talk a little bit about the subscriptions, because the way that this was initially pitched was awful, and it's just not the way it is. I thought that this was much worse than what it was, because just the way that they were like, it's going to be subscription based, and they didn't give a lot of good information. And then they've also changed a little bit on the master tier to make it even better, which I really, really, really like. So here's the deal. On the hero tier, which is the $2.99 a month, or you can buy it out for the year for 25 or 26 bucks. This really isn't going to do a lot for you. This is intended for players. It's going to remove ads, and it allows you to create an unlimited number of characters. It also lets you get into the homebrew content. That content's like all over the place. And before we get out of here, I'll show you a little bit about the homebrew content, because that's like, I don't think that's a reason to do this. Basically, if you hit 6 characters and you really are enjoying it and you want to do more, then sure, you can bump up here. That's in essence why I would tell you to do this. Now, the master tier is totally different. This is really nice, because here's what's going on. When you subscribe to the master tier, it allows you as a dungeon master to share your content in your campaigns with everybody else that is in your campaign. So you can see here, content sharing enabled by Taking20. So all of these people in my Horde of the Dragon Queen campaign, they have access to all of my books. All of them. I think there might be a way to pick which books it is. Honestly, I didn't even look into it because I just told them, hey guys, don't look at the book. You know, don't look into the book and ruin it for yourselves. And that's not a problem in my game. But they basically have a player's handbook to take home with them. I have a player's handbook in my game. I'm on this tier. I can put them in a campaign, share the content with them, and yeah, boom, done, easy. Now, here's the kicker up to that. If anybody is in the $5.99 tier and they enable content sharing, everybody in the group can share everybody in the group's books with everybody. So, let's say I bought the player's handbook and the monster manual, and somebody else buys Curse of Strahd to run, and they're like, hey man, why don't you run it? I'll just pick it up on my account. I can see it. I can see everything in that. I can run my game from that. I can log in just like it's normal. It's no big deal. You go over to your campaigns, and you just move on. So it's really great that you have the ability for anybody to share. Oh great, now you guys are going to join this. I'm gonna have to blur this out. I didn't realize that campaign link was going to be there. But it's really great that anybody can come in here and share this content with anybody else. So if you bought Volos and I bought the monster manual and whatever, you know, Tom is running a campaign for us and somebody has content sharing enabled, everybody has access to everybody's book. It also is great for the person that not everybody wants to buy a player's handbook. I don't want to go and get involved with D&D Beyond because I don't want to spend the money on a player's handbook. I've already got a player's handbook. I've already got a player's handbook on Fantasy Grounds. I don't want to buy it again. And listen, I get that argument. I'm not saying that you should just go buy it again just because you should have it and it's nice to have. It's obviously aimed at different target markets. But if anybody has that player's handbook in that group with content sharing, it's a non-issue. And you can stay on your free account and you can make your characters in that campaign with all of the features available, and it's easy peasy. So my overall review of this, my overall kind of rating on this is that it's really good. It's really good. It does not replace Roll20, Fantasy Grounds, Power VTT. It's not a replacement for them. It's for a different audience. If you have a home group game, or you travel a lot for conventions, or if you just think that it's nice to have a player's handbook, you can just buy the player's handbook and move on. And now you've got it with you for forever. That's another thing to it, because you don't have to have a subscription to take your phone and have your player's handbook on it with you for forever. There you go. You can just take it on there, buy it one time on there at the much reduced price than what Roll20 offers most of their books at, and then you can have it to use in Roll20. You can copy and paste things and create handouts for Roll20. You can take it with you to your local comic shop. You can do all of those things. And I think that Adam Bradford was talking that they are, in his latest update, he is talking specifically about the ability to, when you go through that character creation tool, to take that and have that give you a file that you can take to Fantasy Grounds or take to Roll20. So a whole bunch of stuff is coming for this. I gotta say, I'm really impressed. I'm really, really, really impressed. If it came down to me ordering a physical book for, you know, the next adventure, or ordering something on D&D Beyond, you know, I'm really invested in the books, but I may have to really consider on which route I want to go. I think that if you have everything, you do not need D&D Beyond. I think if you can get away with SRD content, it's a great tool. It's a wonderful tool. It works really, really, really well. And you can tell they've put a lot of time and money and thought into it. And I think it's only going to get better. So there you go, guys. There is my thoughts and opinions and kind of a little walkthrough on what is available to you in D&D Beyond, whether you're on the free or whether you are, whether you have absolutely everything unlocked. And so, what do you guys think? Have you guys used D&D Beyond so far? Do you guys like it? Do you guys not like it? Do you use it just for the character builder? Would you ever invest in something that is not purely physical copy books, or would you actually consider maybe investing into something digital, whether that be Fantasy Grounds or Roll20 or D&D Beyond? I'm just curious to kind of hear what everybody's thoughts, because every once in a while I get that kind of comment that's like, I would never spend money. And so I'm just curious if you guys actually would or would not pull the plug and go completely digital, maybe even in the future if this is around for 6th edition, which, by the way, I anticipate it being around, even though that'll be years and years out. So that's it. That's everything. That's everything that I got. If this is your first time here and you love role-playing games as much as I do, I'd love to have you subscribe. Every week I'll be putting out new videos on GM tips, player tips, tutorials, and more. So if that sounds like something you might be interested in, just hit that subscribe button down below and come join us. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Cody, and may your games be filled with awesome memories and even better friends. I'll catch you guys next time.
Yeah.